Get the old compressor kicked on. Probably gonna need a glove. Now, the trick with any spray primer or airbrush primer is to get it to come out of the airbrush with as little thinning as possible. Okay? Nhawk 70, hi from France. What's up, man? Welcome to the show, brother. So, we're going to just pour a bunch in here. Okay? And we're just gonna raw dog it until we can't raw dog it anymore, okay? So I'm gonna take a step back. I'm gonna start down here in the leg, and I'm taking a step back because that opens the cone up. It hits more surface area, okay? Now the purpose of a primer, in addition to all other, reasons, right? You're protecting the model, you're putting a layer of paint down for your acrylics to stick to, et cetera, et cetera. But it's also kind of a base coat in some circumstances like this, where we're using the black brown as a base coat. So when you're doing this, it's all about consistency, okay? And so having a big wide cone like this lets you hit more surface area. And that's kind of what consistency means, right? You're being consistent across all surfaces. If you're too close, you're just painting a little stream. It's literally not consistent. I want to take a step back. I want to hit as much surface area as I can, and I want to see it all become the same brown at once. Right now, your objective is not necessarily opacity. Your objective is consistency, because opacity will occur through multiple stacks. So once I get a nice, consistent sheet of the same brown, maybe flip it upside down, make sure we get it tucked into all the nooks and crannies. And you'll notice too, I hit that air, rock the needle back to the minimum position where paint's coming out, and I kind of just live there. I'm not doing this. That's spray paint. This is an airbrush. You find your position and you live there. And when you're far away, it's a little bit more freedom. You have a little bit more time to adjust if you're fucking up. Again, we're just wrapping them in one consistent sheet of black brown, covering any of the gaps, anywhere my rattle can didn't get. We're shifting the entire model slightly to this beautiful black brown. I'll take a second to kind of spray some on the base. But here's the thing, the base is going to get touched a lot, so I don't really care. Like almost anything I spray in the base is going to get rubbed on. We're going to be doing a lot of touching on the base. So I'm going to let that sit for 1 second. Nhawks, is it Nighthawks? Thank you for the follow. My man Wyatt in chat, the legendary Jack Close Painting. So here we go. Here are the shoulder armors. Again, I'm going to take a step back. And I'm going to hit them with big cone of influence. And these are just mounted on some double stick tape. Black, brown. This is super easy right here. And again, anybody just tuning in who's wondering what's going on here, this whole thing has already been primed lightly with Rattle Can Black. And now I am actually doing I'm doing consistent coverage with polyurethane black brown from Monument Hobbies. That's a good first pass. These are easy. Now, the backs of these things didn't get any primer on. I'll just kind of sneak around the edge and shoot primer down the backs. But here's the thing. When I pop these off, I'll dry fit them and see what's visible. And if there's any like gray resin visible, then I'll just brush on some of this at that moment later in the project. Okay? So let me set this down. Rockstar Panda says he can't wait to get this model. So here is our sweet sword arm. Had to do a sword arm. Okay. We're just getting that coverage we need. Here's this like awesome like energy cannon. Looks like there's some opportunities for some nice OSL on this. That's why I picked it. And these are just put them on some magnets and just set them off to the side. Let's go back to the beginning. Ordered a new set of casino dice for your custodies. Nice golden yellow, nice. Got them in the mail today, Wyatt. Tight. Let's go for kind of a round 2, guys. Second pass, because this is all just one consistent pass. Again, I'm locking in. I'm just going to walk off of one continuous wet edge. You see how I'm not even letting up the airbrush, just walking it all the way around the model. Okay. Gonna sneak it up into the nooks and crannies. Anywhere I think it should go. Beautiful. And we'll do one secondary pass on our other stuff right here. Make sure we're looking good. It looks like I just ran out. And I'm fine with that. I don't even need to keep going with it. I'm totally fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run some water through the airbrush, get some of this polyurethane out of it. Just a little backflow right here. And I build up off the browns. So the cool thing is that that black brown is in fact a color too. It's a straight up paint for Monument Hobbies. So you have a precise color match here. So the brown is awesome because it will blend easily into many colors. So we can, these are pretty big panels, so we can take some burnt red and combine it, just, you know, reasonably 50-50-ish with the black brown and get a nice in-between color. Sprinkled a little bit of that on there. Just a little bit of water in there right now. Don't even have flow improver in there. And I'm just going to do a quick reset, okay? And again, just going to take a step back. And I'm going to open the cone to the minimum position where paint comes out. I'm just going to stay locked in there. Oops. Wasn't paying attention there, it's okay. And what you're looking for is just even coverage. You see we've got this red-brown. And it sticks to that brown perfectly, okay? We're not overcomplicating it just yet, but we will drop some sick transitions off here in a second. Crafton in chat, what's up, brother? Rockstar Panda, would the black-brown primer be best for dark bone base? It works for literally anything, dog. You can make an excuse to use it for anything. So what I want is to stack this opacity up. And this will be kind of our darkest red in the workup. Now you see there's these little bodies on here that we're going to have to hand paint. And so you're going to have to find the angles that let you shoot the red into all the seams and all the cracks. But the cool thing is by having brown there, even if we miss something, the brown naturally just fades into it. That's why brown is so tight for this. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to dump the pot. Get all that paint out of there. Khalees, tomorrow's your birthday. Any discount code for Monument Hobbies? I mean, have you used the one in my chat yet? Like, I mean, I think we have. Oh, we actually, I think we need a new one. I currently don't think we have one. Oh, is that my dude Samson? AKA Sam Lens. Let me get some strong man love in the chat right there. For the legendary Sam Lens. Bringing a beast mode raid party on this fucking Friday. The literal best of all days. There he is. Web Derp, thank you for the follow, homie. If you guys don't know about Sam Lens, obviously hit that follow button. He's an OG. Oh, old schooler. Master Blaster, thank you for the follow. Schneed, thanks for the follow. Pixel Panos, thanks for the old follow. Yo, my man Goobertown Hobbies in chat too. Internet superstar, most handsome man in 40K. Now check it out. So it was black brown, then it was burnt red mixed with black brown, and now it's just burnt red. Okay, right in the airbrush. Throw a little water on top. If you feel like you need it, toss a little flow improver in there. I find flow improver, I use it to slow the dry time down. I use water to lower the opacity. Simple. Shout out to Master Blaster. I think we already said that. Thank you again. No trans fat. R Fielding. Thanks for the follow. Couple of gangsters. Crashing Adam just gifted a sub to Ninjon. Oh, Ninjon in chat too. See, there's a bunch. Look at this. Look at this. We got the fucking crew in here. On the literal best of all days up in here. That's right, Ninjon. Thank you. I'm gonna say Servithrax. Thanks for the follow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Couple of gangsters in here. Sam Lens, thank you for the raid. I wonder what you were working on today. I didn't even see you in there. So sometimes what I do, guys, I throw some water, I throw some flow improver in there. I'll just kind of ramrod this bitch, right? Just kind of prime the pump. And what I'm looking for, medium opacity. There's a lot of moisture in there, but that's okay. You can mitigate that by just holding the needle back less, right? You just want to live in that spot, okay? So what I'm going to do is just a kind of a classic workup here. And this is just burnt red, okay? And so this, we're still not even getting that complicated. I'm just going to find my position, and I'm just going to walk some burnt red up into that red-brown mix from the bottom up on these. And the airbrush is already acting like a little bit of a bitch because I had all that polyurethane in it a minute ago. So I'm just going to kind of really be patient here. And I'm leaving a lot of that dark brown intact, okay? And because I've lowered the opacity, it's blending in super smooth. Like, that's kind of the secret. Lower the opacity, add water. Wow. Find that respect. Crashing Adam just gifted a sub to my man Sam Lens. Legend. Sam Lens says, I was painting Redukar the Beast. Looking forward to what I do with this highly detailed model. Thank you, man. I look forward to seeing your shit. I don't even know what that is. Sounds fucking intense, though. Anyone whose name is the fucking Beast. Now, these are the shoulder plates. So I'm just going to move in from the top-down position, make it kind of easy. And we're just going to spray some of this down real quick. Again, I'm not even into the detail yet. This is not even the red I want to be on. Okay? This is just burnt red. Okay? So I always like to leave a ridiculous amount of shadow in there. I like that drama. That's my style. Just hit it with some air. If you go a little hard like I did right there, there's a little flow improver in there. It takes a while to dry. Just air, 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 air. Now, that's like one stack of opacity, okay? So it's not even opaque. If you want it to be a little bit more burnt red, then you can kind of do, you can do it again. Just be a little bit more deliberate here as you walk it into the brown. Because the idea is not to repaint it 3 times. It's to just kind of keep... What the fuck? Some fucking polyurethane stuck in the cap. Nice. There we go. I just popped the cap right off. It's funny because this is a fresh, clean airbrush, and 15 minutes of fucking working with an airbrush primer, and my airbrush is acting like a little bitch ass. That's okay. Just play through. Just stack that opacity. Pop, 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 pop. Bilbo Swaggins in chat. What's up, brother? Cheese. Reducard, dope ass AOS Vampire, Soulblight, Gravelord model from one of my faves. Is one of your faves? Most Magic is acrylic, not polyurethane. What is? This? Jason told me these are polyurethanes. That's what we started with. I mean, they sure as hell act like a polyurethane primer. It says acrylic on the bottle? Where? Because that's a brand. Pro Acryl. That doesn't say acrylic. I mean, maybe, but I deliberately asked him when he launched these, and I asked him are they polyurethanes, and he said yeah to me. It says water-based acrylic on the bottle. Water-based acrylic paint. It does say water-based acrylic paint on the bottle. Well, I'm confused. Maybe I have the wrong information. It sure as hell acts like a polyurethane every time I pull them out, though. But maybe I'm just forcing that into existence like a self-fulfilling prophecy. So I just did a quick reset. Ran a little bit of water through the airbrush. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move into bold pyro. Miss half damage in the chat. What's up, girl? 18 months. I mean, like Brent and Goober from Goobertown is here. I don't even understand the difference between polyurethanes and acrylics. I think, isn't he like a literal paint scientist? I feel like he could tell me. So here's some bold pyro. Garaz, what's up, brother? Here's that same burnt red. So now I'm going to mix these two together. Okay? And this is really where I want to live. I want to start moving into this world. Kind of just finding that respect. A little bit of water. Cooper Town says, I'm going to look into this mess. Thank you. He's going to pull out his fucking science lab. That's what I need. Hurricane Hands, thank you for the follow, brother. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to lower the opacity a little bit more water. So high opacity, or high moisture, low opacity. I'm going to use my throttler. I'm going to lower the innate amount of PSI that can actually exit the airbrush with my throttle. And now what I'm going to do is just kind of carefully send this new mix up into the highlight area. Now here's the thing, it's not opaque. It's going to look a lot more vibrant as it hits the model. Okay, but it's not. So it's going to take a couple stacks. And this is kind of my runway into pure bold pyro. So this is much lower opacity. This is very glaze-esque. I mean, it literally is low opacity, low moisture. It's a fucking glaze. So now we're getting some real hot-ass reds. And the reason I do all this stacking and this mirroring and this respect-based kind of like color combining is for that ultimate flawless transition, no speckles, no grain. You lower the opacity and you find that respect, you make the grain invisible. That's right, Ransom Vomit. Brent's on the fucking case. We'll know. We'll fucking know. Stoppy Jones. Oh, we got raided by Sam Lenz. And then there's a bunch of internet celebrities in chat. On this Beast Mode Friday, exclamation point 666. Now, here's the thing. We are moving into the final red on this, and then I'm gonna do some metallics after this. So I'm doing the colors first. So here we go. See, like a chunky in there. Look at that fucking little chunk of paint just sitting against the sidewall in there. It just wants to be there. That's fine. Whatever. I tried. So here's some bold pyro, just raw dog. A little water. A little flow improver. Mix it up a little bit. Lower the opacity a little more. My throttle. I'm actually going to take the cap off again. Said it's got a little bit of a, it's acting like a little bit of a bitch ass right now. It's okay. All right, so and this, it should be like our reddest red so far. And it's just stacking off of the black brown, the burnt red, providing us some nice drama, warmth. Love it. And I'm really going to start emphasizing how opaque the red is down here on the tips of these things. There we go. Now, we will take a quick side quest into Ultra Red. The Ultra Red technique. Miffy, I primed Hellbridge last Friday. I have not touched him till right now. My challenge tonight is timing with your stream to get to the final highlight. Oh, shit. Miffy, I'm rooting for you, bro. So now what we're going to do is we're going to ruin this red by adding straight up white to it. Tons of white, or tons of water. Some flow improver. More water. maybe even more water. I mean, sometimes I get a lot of water in there. And I'm looking for a nice flow. There we go. So what I'm going to do is just kind of bring some of this in down here real tight. And it's still not even white, right? It's straight up pink. It's just the camera is blowing it out. It has a lot of white in it though. Okay, and we're just burning out the tips. All right, I'm gonna dump the pot. Throw a bunch of water in there, dump that. Put another drop of white. This is actually very close to white now. Lots of water. And now we're going to take this and push it even further, just kind of dead center. Okay, done. Dump the pot. We're going to do a quick clean. Hobo rinse, hobo fling. Let's get the white out of there. Oh my God. Sam, if it makes you nervous seeing it going up to 11 before we go back to 10. So what we're going to do is run back to a drop of bold pyro. Okay. Lots of water. Fenris Workshop, keep it real, my man. Thank you so much for the support, brother. If you find value in my content, it's always very appreciated to receive dollar bills in exchange. He throws down a beast mode multiplier, 666. That's 23 bonus, yo dogs. Thank you, brother. Now, Fenris, check it out. Low ass opacity, tons of water, just a couple drops of red, and I'm just going to lightly introduce a sheet of this red right over what we've done. Now, it's very low opacity. It's not going to change it to red just yet. It's also not really going to change any of the dark real estate because it's so low opacity. And we're just going to take our time. We're trying not to let it get wet. We're trying to just let it tint. Create this red filter right over that. Okay. Hold on a second. Acting like a little bitch ass. I think I need to clean my airbrush more than once every 2 months right now. You see, what we're doing is we're just bringing the white and the pink back to red. Slowly. Real easy technique, especially when you have these big panels. Just gonna hit it with some air real quick to make sure we're looking nice and dry. I'm gonna hit the side wall, make sure that we get all that pink out of there. And we're just redifying the shit out of this. So now our red is like full on red as shit. Just stacking. I mean, this shit is like just water red in there. We're just layering these little sheets of opacity over each other. Just hitting it with some air real quick. I mean, yeah, this is like how you get that bow power red. You get it the ridiculous red, that ultra red. Just a little bit of air. Okay, so I'm gonna let that chill, dry. Hold on a second. There's just a couple angles I noticed based on the viewing angle. They look a little pink still. There we go. Okay, I'm with it. Now, let's move into this stuff. Okay, this stuff is black brown right now. So I'm gonna do some white accents here. Looking from a black brown. So here's some straight up black brown. Just gonna hit it again real quick. And there's some horns, there's some flags. Like I said, one of my other color is gonna be like ivory, basically. Ooh. Running over my hose. Kentucky Fried Creature says retina seared like tuna steaks. Those reds are so hot. Tan Wolf. Would that work with other colors? Yeah, it works with every color, dude. It's just making the value super bright, and then layering a filter over it. So, what I am going to do is take some ivory into this. That's more paint than I need. Assure you, that's way too much. And dump some of that out even because it's just so much in there. So what I've done is I've lightened the brown with ivory. And what I'm going to do is I like to yellow it up a little bit. So I'm going to introduce some transparent yellow. So it's like this really weird yellowy color built off of our black brown. Throw a little flow improver in there. A white or water. Sloan, how do you decide on your secondaries for this beast? Like the comic approach last week? No. I just, like there's narrative behind knights. There's like lots of examples of knights that exist in the lore. Sometimes that's just the easiest solution is like, I have done red with like ivory whites before, and I like the way it looks. So I'm just doing something I have observed that looks tight. And also in graphic design, like creamy ivories look classy as shit next to fucking rich reds. Just a fact. But when we pull the brush out slow, it's all about contrast. It's all about making dark shit dark, bright shit bright. Let me get some strong man love in the chat for my boy Mostro Morty 666. That's a 10x multiplier. NWO, Death Guard Life, Nurgle World Order. 230 bonus Dodogs. Gonna get some straight man love all day. Beast mode. multiplier. Spleen merchant, what's up, man? Now here's the thing. And that's what I was talking about with color theory the other day too, Tam Wolf, is like, you know, it's all kind of just whatever. I've observed that these look good next to each other. Respect, we're using respect in our airbrush sequence to build flawless transitions. But when it comes to contrast, that's going to come in when we're pulling out our paintbrush. Because there's so much stuff here. So what I want is I want the fabric to move into white. So I'm just going to work this color in, which gets built off of the black brown. There's respect. So I'm just going to work into the actual fabrics this color. Now, I feel like I'm probably gonna have to pull it off, because there's no primer on the back, and I'm just gonna shoot it right over the raw ass resin, because it doesn't really matter. You're not gonna see it, and that'll ride. Same thing here. And I have to paint all these chains and bullshit. You see how much stuff is on this guy? Again, like, this is, you don't see most of this, so I don't really care. Now these little flags, I want these to be in that white. Or that ivory that we're building. But there's these like bone horns that support it all. And I'll paint those separate. We need them because this could be a bone color if we wanted to, but we don't want it to be. I mean, fuck it. It can be for now. You know, and then we can use it as just like a placeholder so you can see that it also works perfectly well for brown or for bones. So we got that respect built. Now I'm going to dump the pot. Throw some water in there. Clear it. There's a little paint water in there still. We're going to pour more ivory in. I'm going to keep that yellow in there, that cream. Cajun Beauty, how much paint do you go through? Probably more than I need to, just because of how wasteful I am painting one model at a time with the airbrush. But the airbrush is very efficient if you're painting multiple models. Kentucky Fried Creature, 100 bits. Thank you so much for seared retinas. So this is more ivory, more yellow. And so this is a beautiful, like I said, this is a great shift when you get the obvious yellows built into it. Okay. I'm gonna dump it. Gonna do a quick rinse. Dirty paint water. More straight up ivory. So there's only a little bit of the previous yellowy kind of brown color in there. So now this is approaching much more ivory. Lower the opacity. And you'll see. So now I'm just gently bringing it to ivory. And all of its undertones are these yellows and browns. See? Turn some of this light down. You see we get this just beautiful transition built into all these cool little wispy details. And the airbrush is cutting so many seconds out of this paint job for us. Panzerglass, thank you for the prime, brother. Prime sub. Now, Mostro Morty, Fender's Workshop, thank you guys for the financial support today. Check it out. This is for you. Rinse it. A little bit of dirty paint water. Ivory. Whoops. Let's put a little bold titanium white in there, just to actually get closer to white. A little flow improver. A little water. Lower the opacity. Trying to see how much I could throttle. So this is where you need to be cognizant of how much water you have, because it's going to want to spit on you when you throttle it too much. So thin it down. It usually works itself out. Panzerglass, thanks, man. Appreciates how I walk through the process. What we do, man? I teach private classes, exclamation point class. Gucci says, do you have problems with the airbrush color primer flying through the air in your room? When if I'm priming like a whole bunch of models, yeah. A lot of it has to do with just not being good with the airbrush too, because I'm aiming, and there's almost no, like you can even see here, there's like no extra brown when I was priming. It's just hitting the model. If you're just blasting it, that's one thing. So here's our much brighter, almost white mix. Still mostly ivory. Like I said, I'm trying to take it to closer to white. So we've got all those yellows built in and everything. Very creamy, I love it. Still building a nice, cool little transition. Drama. So now, like I said, I'm going for basically red and this kind of off-white as our primary, secondary, okay? Now, inside of these armor panels, there's also places that I can take this exact color combination and cut in with a paintbrush. Okay? So, and we're going to have lots of opportunity to paint bone in here, all sorts of cool stuff. Look at all this shit that I have to paint by hand still. Tons of stuff. Tons of stuff. Here's the superstructure of the guy again. Now we're back to this. So I've got my airbrush did all the work I needed to do on those armor panels. The rest I'll do by hand. I'm going to rinse out the brush real quick. You have the box in the background of the model aiming into the box. Well, I mean, like, it's going into the air no matter what you're doing. And if you're doing primer, you're typically blasting it harder. So, if I'm doing a bunch of priming, that is where I am a little concerned about wearing a mask, having a ventilator or something. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna go classic. So there's a lot of detail on this guy. Okay, there's lots of things. I'm gonna paint red. There's lots of stuff, but like there's also a ton of like obviously metal. So in this situation, what I like to do is I like to paint it all metal now, and then with a paintbrush, I'll pull out the red things again. I find that to be the solution. So again, it's black brown, really easy to support. A nice warm metal position. So I'm gonna pull out a little bit of dark silver. And what I'm going to do, a little water, a little flour improver. Where did I toss my glove? Did I just throw that shit on the ground somewhere? Oh, I'm about to spray my hand with like hard, so I'm gonna put a glove on. Oh, there it is. I don't need a new glove for this. I put it right here in front of me and I just missed it. That's right, face masks do work great. Happy Paul. Like, I mean, I've got like 50 of these. Shit. Covered California sent me this one. Okay, so I've got my dark silver. And what I'm going to do is just paint this guy. I'm going to back the needle out a little bit to open the flow. And I'm just going to give him a nice once over. And I did not lower the opacity that much, so it's coming out pretty hot and heavy. Okay, it's kind of like priming. I want to get as much opacity out as possible. There we go. And with that nice black brown base, I don't need to get metal on everything. It can be black brown in the crevices. Like I said, as you see all the metal highlighting things on the model, you see how many things on the model I need to still paint back to red. I need to paint some skeleton shit in there. His little face. But there's lots of little circuits and plates that should be metal. So doing this first, so much easier than try to paint the metal back in later. Okay. The arms. Real quick. Goliath Games, what's up, brother? Just gifted a sub out to RS Blunden. right there. And I'm not even gonna live in this metal that long. I'm gonna move straight to silver the highlight of this, which is just silver. A little dirty paint water in the pot. Just spurted like 1,000 gallons more silver than I need. So now I'm just going to do a nice big top down. Let it skitter down some stuff. Like that. So now just, instead of just doing like 2 passes with the same dark silver, I just moved up right now. So the second pass, the second layer of opacity is bringing in a brighter mix. You can see a lot more action here. That's good enough. And I've done a lot of nights, and this is basically my move for nights. Same thing here. Let's just angle so we can just kind of shoot it down. Just dripped a bunch of paint. Oh, God. Same thing right here. And like I said, I don't need to overthink this. I just need it to be metal. Okay. Done. I'm going to rinse the pot out real quick. Get some of this metallic out of there. I'm gonna dip my brush in simple green and scrape the pot like this. Move this out of the way. Just get a little bit of that simple green flowing through it. A little bit more water. Dump it. Because metallic has a way of just getting into everything, right? When you're using your airbrush. So I just want to take that extra second to make sure we've done our diligence. There we go. Gotta cut the compressor. I'm gonna put the airbrush just chilling like that. Soak like that for a minute. Praying Mantis, you painted the base of Varsker black. On your recommendation, you're right. Looks better. Hey. Good. I like being right. Now, here's what's up. We have this guy drying up, curing. This is the superstructure. See, this is why I magnetize these, so we can appreciate our dude. So this is drying. I'm gonna do some classic dry brushing on this guy, perhaps some washing technique as well. I'm gonna get every part of the metal to look as good as possible first before we start pulling elements of the model off with a paintbrush. This is gonna be a big part of what we do. Okay, is to get this part looking really good while generating shortcuts. We'll make it look like we didn't do any shortcuts, right? Now this stuff, we'll be able to glue this on as soon as we're done with that, okay? These things. The fucking gangster red. And you see, look at all these little details in here. We're gonna have to pull those out. So I'll probably glue them on, then pull those details out. But on these, I'll probably paint each one of these by hand because look at how much is going on in these with these little bodies and shit. But it's pretty sick, right? Does that go there? Oh no, is it like this? See, that's his leg armor. And these are the shoulders. Right here. Okay. And then those flags hang off of these shoulders. So you see this superstructure up here, we should paint it red as well. That actual armor that's shooting through. Maybe his faceplate too. So, with dry brushing this kind of metal, I kind of authorize myself to go kind of hard. So I'm just going to go straight to the bright silver. Like this. Pitch just gifted a son to Voodoo. Much love. Much love. Corin, did you just get here? Bro, this is what we're working on, man. This is the Engine of Annihilation. This is the big pre-sale on the Creature Caster that they're going to fulfill in Q1. We have 4, gave 3 away. We're painting 1. First one on the internet. And so we did all the armor panels separate, and then this is the superstructure. So, Voodoo, check it out. I'm going to take some of this silver, get my big Monument Hobbies dry brush, load it up, take some of the excess off, and what I'm going to do is just kind of go section by section. And what I'm doing is just going to be focusing on just bringing it straight down and creating some definition. And like I said, with this kind of dry brushing, I'm down to be a little bit harsh, a little streaky, going against the grain. What I'm trying to do is just make the tops of things brighter and the bottom of things darker. That's it. I don't really care about any kind of directional light. I'm just looking at like the grain and trying to go against it to just kind of leave the brighter silver deployed. Okay, and we're just going to go through, just make sure we have a nice solid contrast between the darks and the brights. And so then I can pull out anything I don't want to be metal later, knowing full well that all the metal's already done. I don't have to go and try to carefully paint the metal later. That's always a bitch, you know? So we're just going to be able to move a little faster here. Just be careful with your dry brushing, especially on like a nice resin model like this. Maybe support it here. I don't want to snap his legs because I'm pushing it too hard. It's just making edges brighter, textures brighter. Now, Sometimes when I'm dry brushing, I'm really considering the light, but here I'm not. This is all just about contrast. A lot of times when I'm dry brushing, I'm also going to take a lot more paint off the brush and be more gentle. But with this, again, I'm not worried about that. It's not really what I care about. So this is really just target locking the tops of things. So this is making bright stuff brighter and leaving some dark stuff dark. And I just pretend everything is metal for now. That's kind of like my move. You just pretend every element of this is going to be silver. And then later we will decide what's not silver. This Flux, is this the Corpse Bearer or the Gore brand? I fucking don't know. I don't know the difference between the two. I'm going to say he's the Corpse Bearer because he has a bunch of bodies strapped to him. If I take a second to think about it. Just get inside here. You see all this stuff that's going to paint in the dick to reach later. We're painting it now. You see, look at this nice metal we're getting. Now, he's got a bunch of stuff up top here. Like I said, I don't know what's going to stay silver, what's not, but until we decide, it's all silver. Okay? Again, I'm supporting the model, so as I get farther from the points of contact, it doesn't, you know, I don't give it too much leverage up top and snap him. Because we're being kind of brutish with our dry brushing. I'm sure I'm going to paint a lot of stuff up top here red. There's like definitely an organic texture to this. I feel like I'm going to end up painting with bone. These tops of his legs are going to have armor on it, so I'm not too worried about it.
And his name is John C.
Frozen Hobbit. Let me get some strong mad love in the chat for Frozen Hobbit 2x multiplier. That's 46 bonus $. Thank you for the support, brother. He says, thanks for helping us all get better at the hobby. Can't wait to push these termies around on the tabletop. I feel that, bro. That's the ultimate goal. Thank you for the support, homie. I appreciate that. Can I get some strong man love in the chat for Frozen Hobbit? Frozen Hobbit, let's just move off of the body for a second. And let's get this sword arm. And there's all sorts of details in here. Let me see, like, I'm painting it all metal now. But, like, look, there's, like, literally, like, a rib cage in there, a skull in there. I mean, this guy is going to be such a serious kit to paint. This might be one of the more gangster kits we've painted in ages. I'm not dry brushing the sword because the sword's not going to be metal. You know I'm going to be painting that shit some crazy ass fucking. It's gonna, you know, that sword is going to be some crazy shit. It's not going to be just straight silver. this gun, definitely there's like some opportunities for some glowy shit going on in these vents. Now, sometimes I cheat a little bit, and I'm going to do that right now. Or I'm going to squirt a little white down right here. I'm just going to really white up the metal. So this metal is bright silver, which is metallic gray. So I'm just making it brighter metallic gray. It's going to lose a little luster, but that's okay. Want to just go one step further. Just catch some of these edges a little bit more. Still has metallic flakes in it, it's just a little bit less luster. There we go. Nothing too crazy here. Just one little bit of highlight further. Okay. And like I said, I'll do the base. I'm just ignoring the base for now. So what we want to do is decide if we're going to make the dark stuff dark with one big wash, okay, on this guy, or if we're going to go in by hand. So I'm kind of feeling like we will. I'm kind of feeling like we're going to use an oil wash because it's so much surface. It's kind of perfect for an oil wash to make the dark stuff darker, okay. Kind of feel like it's kind of optimized for that. So what we're going to do is grab some multi-black. I'm going to grab rust, brown, like ground brown, and black, because I want to keep that chaos warmth, you know, that dirty metal. Shaking these up. Now, I do need my multi-black, though. I'm always losing it. It's always getting, like, relocated on me. I got my solvent. That's oh, it's literally right there. I see it. It's right in front of me. Oh, you know what? I've got stain brown. I like this more. This brown more. I've got my black right here. So I've got a sable brush I use for oil right here. Now what I'm going to do is just open all three of these together. And I use these interchangeably often. Now, also what's important is I'm going to put some solvent out in this lid. So I've got my 3-piece set right here. And what we're going to do is probably, I'll probably do these separate. at the end is I've learned from experience that the orange doesn't like to be thinned too much. So what I'll do is I'll kind of maybe first drop some orange off in some key areas. So probably like right here, 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 here. And this is oil, okay? So like I have lots of work time. Okay? Maybe here, 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 maybe here, here. So I'm just trying to put orange down before I get any solvent on the bristles, because I just know from experience what happens. So now I'll take some brown and embed some brown in here too. Brown stain. Just to kind of give it a little bit of dimension. See? Okay. Now I'll take some solvent, remove it. I'll take some black, and black is what's really going to be the primary thing here. So I'm just going to put a ton on top here. Starting from the top. I'll let it just use gravity to move down. Like I said, I'm pretending all of it's metal right now. And it's got enough, it's fluid enough that if you just kind of coax it, it'll move out of these puddles pretty easily. And now I'll bring some into the browns like that. Let it mingle and blend in. And we could use an acrylic wash, too. But with acrylic wash, I'd be going like section by section and really taking my time. With an oil like this, I have like kind of all the time in the world, because I'm going to be able to use a solvent to kind of recurate it, reactivate it, and blend it. So usually I actually like it to kind of cure a little bit and harden a little bit first, because that gives me more, in my opinion, more power, like more ability to subtract and blend than when it's still kind of wet like this. Okay, so this is getting into the recesses. It's making the dark stuff darker. It's helping us with contrast. It is deploying a filter all over everything though, and darkening everything. And that's not necessarily what I want, okay? Okay. Now what I'll do is we got our solvent right here. Paper towel over here. And I'm going to just kind of go section by section now. Okay. And I'm going to kind of stipple in some solvent right here. And do a little subtraction up here. I don't want it to be pulled up in there. So I can actually just use this to kind of brush it away from the tops of things. But for the most part, it did a good job of flowing over everything. And so I'm just trying to pull it out. Just anywhere I see a puddle forming, I'm just trying to like remove that right now. Right, you see in these side panels here, it did a really good job of just dispersing. And so I'll just kind of stipple in and remove a little of that filter right there. A little bit right there. See a little bit of that highlight shows back up. A little bit right here. See, I'm just like actually removing oil when I'm doing this. I'm gonna spend a second just making sure we have a nice clean application here. I'm gonna pull some of the oil off of these flats right here. I'm gonna kind of just drag it across the top here. You see how it just removed some of that? Because I've got solvent on the bristles. And that's where I like it to dry a little bit. If I can get it to cure a little bit more, then this subtraction works really better. It's like dry brush subtraction. And it just stays embedded in those shadows, helping us sharpen the image a little bit. Just pull some of that off. There's just a lot sitting there. Drag it across his features here. I see some puddling up in here. Let me get some of that out. I don't want that. Some off right there. See anything pulling? Tom Duster, what's the advantage of going heavy and editing rather than thinning first? Well, if you thin first, it can never be thicker than what you started with. I want it to be thicker, and I want to make the adjustments as I see fit. You know what I mean? Pop goes the monkey. Much love, homie. Wicked Mini painting. I don't see the solvent, but mineral spirits do the same effect. Yeah, it's just odorless spirits. That's it. Which is a solvent. So now that it's curing a little bit more, this is where I can be a little bit more detailed. So it won't just reactivate entire sections of the model. Can just kind of drag it right where I want to reveal a highlight. See that? Ping, 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 ping. So I'm just using a little bit of solvent on my bristles and just dragging it along and just kind of erasing some of the filter on the tops of things while leaving the dark stuff behind. And this is where you can really get some easy blending done here. So our filter is being blended now. A little bit of pulling under here. Real Dragon, thank you for the follow. Appreciate it, homie. Again, like I said, sometimes I just want it to cure a little bit more. So I feel like I can get that subtraction to operate a little bit easier. Just gotta get some of the oil off the base. You see, now all these little tiny scratches and textures have a little dark stuff in them. The borders have a dark border around them. The bright stuff is still bright. We're not letting it pull up in any flat areas, right? Like, that's why I'm subtracting it from the centers of things. I'll let it get all inside the recesses, right? But if you see it pulling up anywhere that distorts a flat area, that's where you make the subtraction. See? But a lot of this isn't going to be silver when we're done. I'm gonna let that sit for a second. Put some of the orange down right here. Some brown. Let's grab some black. The oil, it flows super easy. The oil wash does. The editing process is super simple. Gravity is always at play. So here, that's good. I'll let that kind of settle for a second and cure. I'll snap it in as right there. Let it just set up. Actually, I'll snap this one in. No. Hold on. Some orange. Brown. Like I said, I want it to have like some weathering, you know, like some, I don't want it to just be clean metal. I want there to be some brown to it, you know, some dirt, some grime, some potentially rust even. See all those little recesses get instantly filled in with something dark, leading to a hyper contrast feeling. Let that settle for a second. Damn, I'm about to touch this one. Reappraise magnets. Magnetize. Pretty, I like it. So look, I'm subtracting right here, you see? Using my solvent. Pulling it off of the flat areas. Letting it sit inside the recesses. Spread it out. There, you see? So just really nice, methodical approach. We're staying active. We're staying engaged. I'm using my eyes. Not letting it distort too like anywhere that's too shitty. Gravity is always at play. So let me just spread some of that off with the sword. The sword is going to be painted a totally different color, so that's why I don't care too much about it. You've never seen me use Mr. Weathering that was a multi-black replay? Damn. A little subtraction. Just brushing some solvent right across flat areas. This top piece right here, you see this? You want to reveal that. Don't let it pull up, and there's lots of little pits in the metal. It's like so much detail in it. It's like hundreds of little scratches and dents and things like that. Like I said, now that it's curing more, I'm able to use solvent on my bristles, kind of dry it off. I should be able to just kind of drag off. Just kind of dust it off almost. across the grain, like dry brushing again. And reveal the tops of things, you see? So it's like you're dry brushing a bright highlight again, but you're actually removing filter. See? And this doesn't work when it's all super wet still. You have to kind of let it get to kind of critical mass where it's looks like you might lose it, like you can't reactivate it, and then you just kind of flick it off. Mostro Morty, 36 months back to back, guys. There's 15 minutes left of the show, guys. Thanks for kicking it with me today. Trying to build this ambitious project. I appreciate the financial support. Mostro Morty, 3 years, right? It's crazy. So I should be able to go against the grain here. See how it's just getting brighter? And I'm basically making sure no pooling is occurring. We've got a nice oil filter, which does have a different look than an acrylic paint does.
His name is John C.
Chaos Kev. Oh my god, Chaos Kev, thank you so much, brothers. Just can't wait to get my hands on one of these bad boys. It's going to be a serious Patreon project list. Yes, sir. And anybody just tuning in, Chaos Kev hit the nail on the head. This whole project, however many volumes it takes, edited the clips down. They'll be living on Patreon for the end of time. Till the end of time. 230 bonus Young Dogs, Chaos Kev. Thank you for your support, brother. And so, again, I'm just keeping my eye on it, watching the curing state. Dry brush subtracting from the oil. Anywhere I think it would be beneficial. Leaving it in the recesses, but removing it from the tops of certain things. It kind of has a desirable, like, natural grit to it. Which acrylic doesn't give you. It's not natural to the acrylic to do that. I'm not saying you can't do it with acrylic though. It's just kind of just what oil does. It's like natural to it. Now a lot of people, they'll use like Q-tips and things to do this. I just like using a sable brush for this. Now you can use like a completely different brush. I can use a straight up brush that's fully dry. And I can kind of just go a step further and kind of just like rub it off if I wanted to. I don't like that because it just kind of, it doesn't let it be blendy. Like I want there to be a blend quality to it. That's why I just use my sable brush. This is my oil sable brush. And you see, I didn't just slap the wash on and walk away. You see, we've been curating this wash this whole time. I'm watching its dry state. I'm keeping eyes on it. Anywhere I see that it doesn't look tight, I fix it. So I'm keeping the process low stress. But it's high effort. And it is a shortcut because ultimately, for only a few minutes of work, we have generated such a staggeringly high degree of contrast. See, it's puddling down here on his nuts. Drags them off right there. And I'm just keeping the arms on because I want drainage to occur in the right way. But the arms are going to be in the way of half the paint job. That's why I've magnetized them. About 11 and a half minutes left, guys. Thank you for the support in this Beast Mode Friday. Now, if anyone wants me to expand upon this oil technique, feel free to ask the questions while we're working on it. Gonna just lightly drag it across the face again. Some of this spine work right here. Like I said, I'm pretending it's all metal, even though I know it's not all metal. I know I'm going to paint so much of this. See a little pulling here. It's pulling up under the gun. Shining a ton of light on it so you can really see like how much detail is actually going on in there. See, like all these little scratches have shadow work in them now, all these little pits and dents. A little bit right there, see that? I'm going to erase some from these little zones right here. Just pulled some oil right off there just to reveal a little bit more highlight. There's a brush hair right there. Now, Chaos Cav, after it dries, will I varnish it? Yes. Yes, I will. Thank you for bringing that up. After it all cures, I will varnish it so that painting over it with acrylic paint is easy. Because the acrylic paint is water-based and is going to kind of be naturally repelled by this. So if you just give yourself a quick reset, you'll be fine. Spray down some varnish. Again, I'm just plucking and pulling. And making sure our metal looks really solid. See that? We're just revealing some highlights. And really giving us a nice natural worn metal look. Now here's another cheat code. After all this oil dries, I could just lightly dry brush it again with silver, and it'll be totally fine. But you see, it's a very solid metal, very easy to cultivate as long as you deploy a little effort. Use your eyes. Don't be lazy about this technique. A lot of people get real lazy when it's wash time. I teach that in my private classes, the correct way to do this and how to think about it. We go on a whole digital lecture. My students can tell you. And it's just beautiful. Beautiful fucking metallic now. Recoil 5x multiplier. It's 115 bonus Yodogs from my boy Recoil. It's my Australian brother. What's up, homie? Recoil, tell your mama said what's up. Tell your mama said hi. 115 bonus, yo, DZs. Tom Duster was asking, what's the finish of the varnish? Just use standard, my standard shit. My standard spray varnish. My Tester's Dull Coat. Which I'm looking around, I'm like, damn, did I forget to buy more Tester's Dull Coat? It might end up just being... It might just be some fucking... It might just be like a light coating of Army Painter matte varnish. That's what it might end up being. Because you really just need a acrylic reset is all you need. And here's our hyper bright red panels. You see? And that'll cover it. And this kind of red, we're going to pull reds out of these. Like I feel like this tank on top, I'm going to probably repaint it red. All this kind of weird bone structure, probably going to paint it that ivory. But pretend it's all metal for now. Miffy, am I doing one final whip tonight? No. Let's just do one whip. It's like 45 minutes of the show. But if you put some on whip, I'll look at it. Repay, do you have a big model? It's exactly the size of a war dog, an Arbinger. People keep asking that shit. Have you ever seen an Arbinger in Warhammer 40k? It's exactly that size. Like, here's a Chaos Terminator, or here's a Terminator. He's how much bigger an Arbinger is than a Terminator. Is how big he is. Spoiler. Ray Prey. Ridiculous. And we've got our tabards and cloth, which we did this off-white, which we're going to use this same kind of formula for a lot of other accents. And you can see, like, this is his butt curtain, his butt cape. This is more detailed than, like, this Terminator wishes he was. Like, so this is going to be a whole video, practically, just to paint this fucking thing. You know, here's his nut curtain. Look at how much stuff is inside here we got to pull out. You know? And so I think this is the corpse hauler or whatever it is, corpse carrier, because his shoulder armor has corpses pinned to it, and they're run through with these they're pinned to these horns with tabards. Okay, and then up top they have another big horn that pops out right here. So we got to paint all that shit in there. And when we're done, it's questionable how much red we're going to even be able to deploy in these. Because like, there's obviously a trim I want to do, and I have to think about those eagles back there. I want there to be a lot of red, though. So this is going to be a whole project, too. Like, painting these shoulders. Like, so, honestly, if we roadmap this guy out, we're going to work on the superstructure until it's done. But it's going to be like... I mean, fuck, dude. We'll be lucky if these plates are one video. These tabards are one video. So, like, we'll be lucky if it's 1 volume, 2 volumes. It's unlikely. It'll probably be 2 volumes each. So, it'll probably be 4 entire sessions just to get what's on these pieces of cardboard done. That's why we don't really do Creature Caster stuff very often. Because the level of detail is incredible. So 4 volumes in just cardboard, on the cardboard. Let's say, you know, let's just dream 2 volumes on the superstructure. 1 volume on the base. 7 shows minimum to paint this guy. War Pig, am I doing a corn theme or just red? It's just red. Red and off-white. Meticulous Chaos. Army painter speed paints for demons or poxwalkers. Honestly, the only thing I think speed painting is the speed paint formulas are good for are poxwalkers and certain demons. Like, it's like if GWs had contrast is for poxwalkers and fucking shit like that, I'd be like, yeah, it makes sense.